And then we have, what about Dallin? Have we heard from him? No? Okay, that's fine. Well, this is just an update. So I've been working on making sure everything is coded accordingly. That was a huge hassle yesterday as the Google Doc crashed on me like 5 times. Because there's so much data in it that Google Sheets can't really handle it. So that was fun. Other than that, I sent the templates over to y'all. If you want to use them, you can also use something else because that's totally fine. Do you all know what Canva is? Not so much. Okay. Sorry. So I realized that I said you can use Canva, and then I was like, well, not everyone knows what that is. Because I learned from like my last job. So Canva is a website that allows you to create infographics, brochures, posters, that kind of thing. It's common for people in marketing to use it. It's also common for just like random people to use it for who knows what. Anytime you're coordinating an event, you might use Canva, and it's more user-friendly than PowerPoint when it comes to creating like beautiful graphics and so on. Whereas PowerPoint, I feel like it's a lot more clunky, but if you don't know how to use Canva, then it can be like a little bit of a hassle, but it just allows you to have like more nuanced infographics basically. So let me see if I can pull it up. So you would just type in Canva online and you can either create a free account. When you do create a free account, let me see if this works. That's not helpful. So sorry. Yeah, so that should work. Perfect. Or not so much. There we go. Then, okay. Pop-ups, goodness gracious. So can I share my screen? Yes, cool. So this is what Canva looks like. So you just log in and this is the home screen. And you can pay for a version, which I do not recommend, which just gives you access to more graphics and fonts and who knows what. Or you can use the free version, which is great because it's free. So you'd go to your project to access it, and then you would like, so I used this for an event because they were like, we need a poster, and I was like, cool. So you have this. So we would go to templates and we would go to infographics under marketing. Click that button, and then you have a bunch of templates you can choose from. I think all of these are free. If it's not free, it'll have a little crown in the corner that's like yellow, a tiny little crown, and it'll say like premium. And then if you click it, it'll be like, you have to pay. And you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Just so you know, it's like, what am I thinking of? It's like Hulu without ads. You know, you're like, oh, I could always pay to not have the ads, but it's not worth it. So you can pick anything from here. I usually suggest something that's like this one where it has sections. So that's what I tried to create in PowerPoint. I want you to know I tried to make columns for it to be like a poster, and that did not work. So I used the little lines that I just added in for PowerPoint. So any of these would work. This one has been used before in business. Let's see. Honestly, that first one looks like the best bet. But if I click it, going back up. Right, so let's do this one because it has graphs and hopefully it'll show me the graphs when I click it open. So you open it and it's gonna look like this, and then you can zoom in down here. You can add pages by clicking this button, or you can copy a page, which is usually what I do is I'll copy a page and then delete a lot of this stuff, but it keeps the text boxes and I can just edit the graph, things like that. So that's worth it to me because it saves me time. And so if I can't see like anything on this page, there we go. So if I wanted to zoom in, that's really zoomed in, sorry. Right, so I usually work up close when I'm making it, and then I'll zoom out to look at the document as a whole for placement of items. And you want things to line up by the edges, not so much, yeah, by the edges, not so much in the middle, if I remember correctly for my newspaper stuff. So like, just remember one edge has to definitely line up. You don't want it slightly off, and it'll have like grid lines. So if I move this, right, you see that like pink line that shows up, right? So it allows me to know like, okay, well, I can line it up here, or I can line it up in the middle, which I do not recommend. So that's what you want to remember is edges need to line up, not centering things. So it just looks better. Was the word I'm thinking of visually. So it's a rule in newspaper. And so yeah, then you'll just click it and you just edit. So instead of saying data infographic, you would put communications major, right? And then if you want to make it smaller, you go up here, you highlight it, and then you just make it smaller because the font is up here. So it's pretty intuitive. If you want to try it, go for it. If not, totally fine. And to make graphs, so to add anything, you'd go to elements and oh, we can just type it. You can just type it graph, right? And it should pop it up. Yeah. And so a lot of what you might be using for this would be bar charts, right? So you have bar chart. So if I were to go down here and click this, it tells me the axes. I can add axes, I can delete them. So if I don't need item 5, I just have to delete everything there, and then it should disappear on the screen. Did it disappear? It did not. Why? Oh. Because I still have one data point. That's why. There we go. And then it will automatically resize it. So there's that. And for most of the graphs we'd be using, you would most likely just have you'd have one set of data rather than multiple. So you wouldn't need multiple colors in this case. I wouldn't even put it this way. I don't know why they're doing it this way, but that's how it is. So I would switch it, series 1, 5 items. Regardless, you can play around with that. And then pie charts, remember, are usually in percentages. So if you put 10, it's going to make every percent. Well, you have 5 items. So it's going to make everything equal to a percent. So you can put in percentages here, and that's fine as well. Just keep that in mind. I feel like some people think pie charts are useful and not always when it comes to data analysis. I'm like, they are when you have a certain kind of data. So it's good to show the breakdown of a population more than anything, right? Bar charts are good for frequencies because it's basically a histogram. You can also look at this if you wanted to. It's a line graph with the area underneath filled in. This is good for histograms sometimes, though people don't use it that often. But this is your biggest bet. It's a histogram. So there's that. I did graphs. So graphs are there, and then you have the ability to put in shapes, right? So in order to get, let's see. So this, there we go. This is a shape. It's most likely considered a graphic that they ended up putting in the background and then adding to the sheet. But since it's a template, it's already there for you. So you can maneuver it and manipulate it in a certain way. And if you don't like it, you can get rid of it. So I should be able to just click delete and it's gone, right? And then you can also undo with Control-Z. So that's pretty intuitive, I'm hoping. You got your graphics. Oh, colors, right, colors. So close this for a minute. If I want to change the background color, I click on this little button that is the color of the background, and then I can pick from any of these. It'll show me what is already in the document, and then these are the default colors you can pick from. So like I said, if you pay more, you'll see the little crown, you can get more colors. But I'm like, it's pretty decent amount of colors. You don't want anything too close together because it won't look different enough. So like here, you've got a simple color palette to choose from. You can also just pick bright green and bright blue and call it a day. I usually work in a combination of 3 colors, 2 main colors, and then an accent color. I think that typically covers my bases. So I'm not working on an issue of like, now I have the same color touching or too close to another color. Because even though they're bright, you don't want like too much of one color dominating. This one uses just a background color of pink, and then, and you'll see here too, right? So the graph, the pie chart has a color, right? If I go in and I can change it, it'll change all of the colors. So I think I should be able to settings. So it should be, that's not it. I know there's a particular way you can change all of the colors specifically. I think that's usually just with pie charts, unfortunately. Yeah. So with the pie chart, I can go in and I can say, okay, I want one of them yellow. Why is that? Oh, I did not want that. Now everything's yellow. So it does take some fiddling. No. Should be. Okay. I click this color. Yeah. So you highlight the color you want to change in the bar graph, and you can change the color to whatever you want. So usually I'll pick 2 different colors if I'm comparing data. But again, you'll most likely just be using a histogram, so you don't need to compare data within the same chart necessarily. And then this is your font. And I usually just use black or white for the font, depending on the background color. So the rule of thumb is black on or white on blue or black on white are the best colors for presenting because they're the easiest to see and they're like less distracting. However, so that's like an old school rule. Now people are very much into color and they're like, look at all this cool color stuff because color catches people's eyes. But when it comes to reading words, I still feel like you should pick white or black usually on white or blue backgrounds, like respectively. So there's that. So like this is a blue on white. That works, you know, that kind of thing. So just consider that. So it's always going to automatically save it. You can rename it. And then when you get it saved, you should be able, hello, go away. Should be able to just go to your projects and have a million pop-ups today, and then just click it again and it'll work for you. Okay. And it pops up just as it was saved. And then when you're done with it, so you can share it in various ways. You click the share button. You can have other people add as long as they have a, like add to it, as long as they have a Canva thing. That should work. Yeah. So they need a Canva account, just like Gmail. You kind of need a Gmail account in order to use the Google Drive functions and Google Sheets and so on. But you'll click download and then PDF or JPEG. I say do PDF because that's better. And if you download the PDF, and we'll look at it, it takes a hot second. I just want to show you what it looks like as a PDF. So the template you pick is going to say it's going to be this size in person, because what you would end up doing is the idea behind Canva is I can create this thing and then like send it to a print place, and it'll tell them like, okay, this is for 5x7 flyers or something, right? So this is what it ends up looking like. I think this was a 8x7 brochure. It might be a little, I think the sizing is actually a little different. So what we looked at here, you have both pages. You don't need 2 pages, but it's here if you want it. So that's what that is. think. Wait, I lost. There it goes. Okay. I was like, I lost my thing. There we go. So does that make sense for Canva? Okay. So if you want to, you can use it. If you want to stick to PowerPoint because you know PowerPoint, go for it. Either works. I have no preference really. So it's up to you guys. You can pick whatever colors you want.
Are you wanting a poster for each category, for each major?
Yeah, just the thing you worked on.
Just the one you worked on?
Yeah, so I think Dallin worked on business law, so he would have a little infographic on business law. And then I sent the templates over that was kind of like a fill in the blank kind of thing. I don't think I put an example of what it looks like, just this is where you put this in and this is where you put that in. So that's a good rule of thumb of what information you're going to want to include. And let's see, I also have that PowerPoint I shared with y'all when we first met that was for business law. It has a lot more information in it, and I basically vomited in a PowerPoint. So you would want to take all that type of information and put it into one sheet. So what I'm working on now is making sure you have all of the data. And then for competition, I'm going to be emailing you guys that information so you have it to add, because I would hate for you to be like, oh, where do I go? And it's like, okay, well, I'll send you guys an email to say like, these are the different websites we go to for that. And here's why. We have 5 competitors that are like the best of the best in the business for textbook creation. We use Wiley, Oxford University Press, Cengage, Pearson, and McGraw-Hill. Most other companies just don't exist, to be honest, or they're like super small and they produce like 2 books and it's not a big deal to look them up. So that's usually where we go to look at competition, but I'll be doing that for you. And then I can also work with you to show you how we would do it if you'd like. But I'm also like, well, you have to create a PowerPoint or some sort of infographic and you have finals. So just want you to not stress.
So I was working on the accounting one and I just do have some questions. Maybe I can share what I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I did look at your email and the PowerPoint for the business law on the serviceable available market. Is this what you're looking for? Or are you wanting more information than that? Let's see, let me make it bigger for you. Oops.
No worries. Can you scroll up a hot minute? Okay. Got it. Okay. Yes, so this is what I'm looking for. And then for this, can I ask why you put simple sample?
Because I was trying to figure out what you wanted in this area. So I looked at your the PowerPoint, and that's the sample that you kind of had similar to the business law. So I couldn't figure out if you're wanting a sample in there or you want us to just gather all the information on the accounting program and just put it in there. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to figure out, what we're literally supposed to put in this area.
Yeah, so for serviceable available market, I would skip the simple sample part because we were looking at a representative sample, which is pretty awesome because we have so much data. I'm so proud of us. I was like, look at how much we have. I would focus more on this many students are graduating with an accounting degree in the United States as undergraduates, right? Because we're looking at undergraduate courses. You can find that information on College Factual or the Department of Education has a federal database. There's also, what is that, iPads or something like that, right? So that information works out well for you. It's also I know for business majors, business is the top 1 or top 2 most taken major for graduation. So you might put in like what accounting is specifically. So there's that side, and then you'll put like, these are the common courses, and then like, these are usually prerequisites in most classes, or graduate program, degree programs, sorry. Yeah, and then maybe put like what courses we're calling accounting 1 and accounting 2. Does that make sense? So like principles of accounting 1 is considered accounting 1 in our little breakdown, but we also have like fundamentals of accounting or introduction to accounting. That's all still accounting 1. So you might say courses that qualified as accounting 1 courses included, and then blank, blank, blank. Does that make sense?
How many courses are you wanting us to kind of, because
Do an
there's so much.
overview.
Oh, just an overview.
Yeah, so I want to see what you are seeing as important, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
yeah, and then in the data sheet that you're looking at, you'll see like highlighted sections. That's because on Wednesday, I found out that StuKent is already in the process of making some of the courses that I was seeing we should be making and projecting. So they've done our job for us on that side. And I was like, that's okay. So fun. So I talked to someone about it, and now we're focusing on courses that StuKent is not making that they still should be making, so they know what direction to go, if that makes sense. So when you see highlighted stuff, I'm working with my coworkers to make sure that the courses count for the section I've put them in, that StuKent is actually on the path of making the course. And you can kind of just skip over it and relax. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to see if I can put together a template today for y'all. That's an example. I just didn't want to step on anyone's toes and like do anything that y'all are going to end up doing as well. But I think that might help more, so you can see what we're looking at.
I know what would help me is like if I can see what type of information you're really wanting on there, I can work it out to put it together. That's mostly what I'm kind of gets me confused the most, I guess.
Okay. Do we have anybody doing agribusiness in this group? I feel like we did. So I might just update the agribusiness thing and send that over to y'all. So I think it's either agribusiness or health administration, which is my least favorite.
So I have health administration, but agribusiness, I don't know if anybody has.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I was doing agribusiness, but we weren't really finding much.
Well, because I thought you were signed up for communications.
Yeah.
And PR.
I was just working with Casey.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so I see healthcare, that's Jenna. Oh, it's finance that only has one person. Okay. Because I was like, I know that there was only one person working on one category. That's right. Perfect. Okay, finance I will do. So I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. There we go. Sorry about that. And I'll send that over to you guys today.
Do you still need us to look over that one worksheet to see if we agree with that grouping that you did?
Yeah, well, so my question is do you see any like glaring, like that's wrong kind of thing? Because I still needed that. I went over with my coworkers through some of the stuff, so they corrected some of my categories, mostly just by making them more general to make sure they fit in. So anytime like I see the word investment, it's in the investment category. Anytime I see the word derivatives, it's in the derivatives category, which my coworker who was previously working on this project, he said that that about makes sense. So, because there's times where it'll say like foundations of management, and that's the same as like organizational management, something like that. So that's what I'm worried about, is the categories are too broad or too narrow. So if you see any glaring obvious issues like, no, this is very much a different class, you can't use the same textbook for this class, then that's what we care about. So, and I've been looking, I've been like, okay, everyone's agreeing so far, that's good. Okay.
Sounds good. Seems like a solid like to do list, like looking through and then working on the posters and then I think just in normal terms of just like our RBDC stuff, like just working on the final deliverable. So it seems like we got like good amount, not too much, but like good amount.
Okay. Perfect. So I was hoping next week we could present the infographics. If you want to meet like before our Friday meeting, so we can go over them, even if it's like a more one-on-one thing. If you feel like you want that, that's totally fine. Just hit me up on a time. I'm probably not busy, so it's fine. I'll be at work. That's good.
Usually Thursdays, if you want like more people, Thursday mornings at this time usually works pretty well.
Okay, perfect. So if that works for everyone, that's fine too, and we can do a run through. And then I'm trying to get Brady into the Friday meeting. It's like trying to catch a wild animal. He's so busy. I'm like, stop moving. He hasn't been in his office all week. I didn't know if he was on vacation or just at a different location. And then I saw him in passing on Wednesday and I was like, okay, he's here, but he's not here. I don't know. Goodness. But if we can't get him in the meeting on Friday for you to do your presentations, we'll record it and we'll send it to him if that's okay with everyone. It's like so difficult to find. It's ridiculously funny. If there's no other questions, that's fine by me. I just want to make sure you understood what Canva was, to go over like everything's okay so far. And if you have any questions, I'm always here. You can always just email me directly too if you're like, I just didn't get it. I'm like, okay, here we go. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, sounds good. And then like Thursday, I think everybody should be able to show up. And then yeah, we'll have it ready by then.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. You guys did so much good work and it's so helpful. And everyone in the office who's seen the data sheet, because I'm like, all right, let's go through this. Like, do these courses match up? They're like, oh my gosh, what is that? I'm like, it's our database. It's amazing. So they're very excited.
That's so cool. We're so glad because it was like, we're like, oh, we're getting like all this data and like we're like super excited that like it's like we're like seeing like the finished product and stuff like that. So it's super exciting for us too.
Yes, yeah. I'm very happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You guys have a good day then.
Yeah, you too. Oh, bye.
So does that mean that we are not presenting our slides then? We're just gonna present to them the posters?
I think I don't, because well, I don't know, you just throw them in the PowerPoint. They're captivating. Did I say that?
I think that you guys can just add like, I don't imagine that Brady really wants to see every single infographic. If he's so busy, he doesn't really care about the individual stuff, you know? I would bet he'll want to see that final presentation and then just add a couple of the infographics, the most interesting ones, or, you know, the ones you think are the most important, or just examples of them. So I'm sorry I wasn't here at the very beginning of it. I've kind of a busy day. I had an early morning meeting, but when we meet on Thursday with Adina, we may want to just tell her and I can tell her that we want to present the presentation on Friday.
That sounds good. I think if we can look at her preliminary data, like
Mhm.
for example, like when we know they're gonna do an accounting course, like we'll use the accounting infographic, like we'll kind of do our own like, hey, which one of these are they actually using? Let's just throw that in there.
Yeah. So we can meet on Thursday with her and talk more about that. Like if we can try to get as much of the infographics done.
Mhm.
And Dallin needs more hours. So if you guys are getting close, we can feel free to talk to him and see if he wants to help out with your infographics. If there's too many, I don't know how many you each are doing. Only a couple probably, but
I think I'm doing like one.
okay.
I'm
So
just doing one.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, not Casey. I probably handle it. But yeah, let's just meet Thursday with her and we can ask her which ones we'd like to add.
Yeah. Is there so like just looking over stuff and reading things and things like that? If we're like I'm right now, like if we're kind of to that point where we have 90 plus, and we like are just like if we work on it, do you feel like if we just work on the stuff that we have so far, like with the final deliverable, looking over the data sheets and agreeing and just kind of like, you know, scouring over those, and then the infographs, do you think will hit?
Yeah, I think I will say that if you guys are over 90 hours, since you guys got started so late, I'm okay if you just hit 90.
Okay.
With that being said, please make sure to like finish the project.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the contingency. If you're not finishing your work and you don't hit 100, that's gonna be a problem. But if you're doing all your work and finishing it all up and you're at least to 90, then then I'll have you guys just put 100.
Okay.
Clock by.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure like I'll hit it because especially if the research and creative works conference,
Yeah.
like because I got to make that academic poster. So, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I was just wondering like about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about it. You guys did good work and had kind of a frustrating project, so you did your best. That's all we can ask for.
And you've been great with helping us with stuff. I know that you've kind of been like looking at it and you're just like, what do I do with that? You know what I mean? And you've
Yeah,
been
it's just
really hard
different.
to-
It's not usually what we like to have you guys do. We want you guys to get more hands-on with like
Mhm,
making a marketing plan or making, like we have to research and learn something new.
mhm.
But I hope you guys still learned something from this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't as maybe applicable or hands-on as we like to give you guys. But anyway, is there anything else that we can, is there any other work that needs to be done that we can let Dallin know if he needs more hours?
I think I'm okay if he works on the accounting poster. I think I can still pull my 100 hours if I go in and finish looking through that one worksheet that she wants us to kind of make sure that we kind of agree with the categorizing that she did. I think I can meet my hours, and then we still have next Thursday and Friday the Zoom meeting. So I think I will hit 100 hours with that.
Okay.
If he wants to, he can do the accounting one if that'll help him.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Awesome.
He could work on agribusiness too if he wants. Because I already have communications and PR.
Okay.
I don't even know if he's done anything to that pilot study. He can also do, there was a couple of things that needed to be added on there still, I think.
Heck, he could read the pilot study and probably
Yeah. Okay. Well, he'll probably, we'll just send him this recording and let him know that, he'll gather what he can do from here.
Can you just let him know to let us know as soon as he can so that we can, if he doesn't want to do it, then we can just go ahead and work on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Who's recording this meeting? Is it Jenna? Okay. Just make sure you put it and I'll let him know that when it's up that he should look at it. There's some ideas of things he can do.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right.
All right, anything else you guys need to talk about or have any questions about?
Were we gonna do anything with Canva or just the presentation on the PowerPoint?
I think Canva seemed a lot easier than compared to the PowerPoint that she sent. As I tried working with it, it just kind of really didn't let you, format it very well. But I think Canva would be a lot better. That's my opinion. And it would be kind of nice to just keep it very consistent instead of each of us wanting to pick a different poster. Maybe just kind of play with the colors and not so much the format of it. I think that would be okay. But it's up to everybody.
I think that's a good idea. Trying to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
You can
So instead of
have
go
them use
on a
Canva.
Canvas.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jenna.
You can just duplicate slides too. So it's like if somebody makes a slide, you can just like, having used Canva before, you just duplicate it and then you just keep making copies. So it'll be pretty easy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think unless somebody else has any more questions, but I think we're pretty good.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. You guys have a good weekend then.
Okay.
You too.
Bye.